Hey, so today's video is going to be talking about Fallout 76 as a relatively newish player. I've played a lot of this game over the past month or two. I finished every single main quest, side quest and daily quest multiple times at this point. I've really enjoyed my experience overall, and from what I've seen, it is definitely a step up from what was first released. But I do think there are some issues with the game. Bugs aside, it is mainly aimed at the endgame, which is bare bones with arbitrary limits that make it feel a lot like a free-to-play game. The Atom Store's use of an aggressive FOMO strategy doesn't help that opinion either. When you have items being released for a limited time, you better get it before it's gone in a week or two. Back to the limits I mentioned though, in the game there's a vendor cap, a scrip and gold exchange limit and a surprisingly harsh storage limit. Yes, I know some of these things are being addressed in the upcoming patch, but I do think these things are still going to be issues well past that. Events, daily ops and daily quests absolutely throw items, weapons and gear at you. If you do more than a few of them, you'll find yourself struggling to sell the legendary gear to the scrip exchange machine, especially if you're getting that 3-star gear. So what does that mean? It means it gets stuck in your stash. It doesn't help that you can't dismantle the legendary gear either. So if you're trying to sell them at your camp, a lot of the time players aren't interested in buying them from your vendor unless they're super cheap for them in turn to sell to their own legendary exchange vendor. Pretty quickly your storage starts to fill up with items like meds, foods, weapons and ammo, etc., which leaves you with some options. The main two are to either dump your gear or wait until the next day to sell it. For me, it does mean stopping playing until the next day so I can sell it off during that vendor refresh. Dumping stuff that I've earned doesn't really sit well for me when I can make some caps from it, especially when you see some of the plan prices in the faction vendor shops. An inconvenient third option is to transfer items between characters for storage, pretty easy if you have some assistance from friends that you can trust, or alternatively a second console and a copy of the game if solo. Not really something I'd recommend. The struggles I faced with inventory space didn't include my junk and scrap. I had Fallout first throughout my time, so I kind of dread to think where it'd be without the scrap box. I also dread to think what it was like before the current storage limit. The game is a hoarder's nightmare, and I don't feel like I was over hoarding either. I just don't understand it. As I've said before, Bethesda is increasing the scrip and exchange vendor limit, so selling legendaries will be easier, but I feel that storage should be looked at too. These limits feel like they're there to inconvenience me into not playing too much on one day and to get me coming back the next. I don't feel like these are very logical, especially when you can just bypass it and transfer them inconveniently to your alts. I feel like these imposed limits are even more so to do with the scoreboard and how ranking up is rationed into daily and weekly objectives, and then kind of grinds to a halt after you complete these. The way Fallout 76 does the seasonal model is kind of the only game that comes to mind when I think about it. After these objectives, you'll get 100 points every 10k experience as a repeatable. Is something, but is not much at all. Not everyone can play a game daily, let alone the same game daily, so I only imagine there's not a lot of people that actually get all of these seasonal items. There's a lot of padding in there with pointless items, so you'd have to be pretty motivated to finish that scoreboard. It does feel like Bethesda is trying to ration out what little content there is, as opposed to making worthwhile content that you can repeat multiple times a day if you choose to. That being said, I'd be more than happy to repeat daily ops and events we do have, when I haven't had to worry about reaching that cap or storage limit, of course. I've really enjoyed this world that Bethesda has created. I just feel very discouraged against spending too much time in it at once, especially like I would in free-to-play games. What is left after hitting these daily limits is perfecting my camp, which is what most of the cosmetics in the Atom Store are for, conveniently. There's also Nuclear Winter 2, but I don't think that's something I could spend a lot of time in. There's a lot of games in the Battle Royale genre that do it better, but that's something to talk about another time. Also, Nuclear Winter is being removed from the game in September, so I don't really think I'd bother. I'm quite curious to what other people's thoughts and feelings are on this, as I haven't been a part of this community for very long. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you soon.